I'm optimistic, positive, and excited about this phenomenon called chiropractic. Of course, I'm excited about reaching people with my practice, building an exceptional life. Of being productive, getting a lot done. Each and every day, we got 16 waking hours every day. 112 waking hours every week. You know how much you can get done in one day? I'll talk to somebody after a month. Have you got that scripting done? Well, I haven't gotten to it yet. You've had 448 hours. You couldn't take one of them to work on improving the service you deliver? Of course, we want to be prosperous, and that can mean many things. Prosperous in love, health, career, and financially. Of course, we want to be generous and be filled with love. Have our life revolve around fitness and health, and, key word for today, longevity. Longevity. Are you doing things that could negatively affect your longevity? Like a PR on a deadlift, for example? Anything that can cause the spinal joints to wear down sooner, can that have a negative effect on your longevity? I'm at a state now where I don't want to do anything that can affect my longevity. I want to literally not age. I have a technique for that. Many of you know it. I believe I'm 28. You probably heard me talk about this before. It's a very important psychological tactic for yourself. You lock into what you feel is an ideal age for you, and then you just decide to stay there. Stay there physically. I want to grow and advance mentally. But every single year on my birthday, I simply turn 28 again. The body follows the mind. Research has shown that you can talk to your DNA and have an effect on longevity. So I'm just 28. It's weird when people ask me how old I am. I don't even know what to say. Just say, well, I'm 28. Oh, you're not 28? How old are you? I don't know. I'm 28. And of course, generosity, while you're filled with love, fitness, yes, fitness, longevity, and of course, having fun. Fun is the name of the game. We work hard. Why? So we can play. Our purpose is to become smarter, more powerful, capable, driven, and superior versions of ourselves by ever increasing our awareness, how smart we are. Of course, our knowledge, our understanding, our motivation, what? To get a lot done during the 16 hours of the day, the 112 hours in 1 week. There really is no excuse to not be successful because we have so much time. 16 hours, and that's just with a regular schedule. Hands-on skill. I just came from the chiropractor right now. Got some excellent adjustments in Eden Prairie, Minnesota, USA. Fantastic. Going to get some good spinal adjustments again in a couple days to have maximum power for a major event we have coming up later on this week. Big workshop, high performance training for high performers early in the morning on a Saturday. Then the seminar itself, special guest, Navy SEAL Ray Care, call sign Cash. There's a few things to learn from people of that capability that can only be valuable for the chiropractor. Going to be the biggest event we ever had. Communication skill, yes. Mastering the art of exceptional living, that's the name of the game. Every single podcast, every time we train, You right now are naturally attracting great new patients. You're becoming a more capable motivator and a persuader of people. There was a high-level marketer, direct response copywriter, possibly the most popular one ever in the United States. His name is Dan Kennedy. He was asked one time, what do all of your most successful clients have in common? At a very expensive seminar for only his inner circle, his high performers. I happened to see a video clip of this particular moment. It was amazing. Mr. Kennedy, is there something that all of your high performers seem to have in common? What is it about them? And he just stopped. And he thought about it. And he formulated his words. And he said, they're all pretty much capable persuaders. They got to the top through like the sales channel, not from being an accountant or something like that. They got there by being able to be knee to knee, toes to toes with people, and be able to explain and educate, develop the trust to have people follow them and buy what they are selling. Capable persuaders. Your goal is to become a capable persuader. I'm doing what I'm doing right now because I am a very capable persuader. You're empowered to make smarter long-term decisions, and of course you're energized physically, yes. Mentally, yes. And financially, yes. We're going to talk a little bit about that today. How do you retire early with money? This could be an ongoing series. We could spend 100 hours here. How do you retire early with money? Or let me put it this way. How do you create the ability to retire early because you have money? And money is what is required to retire, let alone retire early. What's the big trouble today, ladies and gentlemen? Are people getting better or worse at thinking ahead? Are people getting better or worse at planning for the future? Are people getting better or worse at their ability to imagine what their life will be like down the road based on what they're doing today? Those are almost funny questions, aren't they? We're in a world where there's very little thinking ahead, very little planning, and very little acknowledgement of the future consequences of today's action. Today's actions, plural. Today's causes that will bring future effects. Like sometimes people say about tattoos, a permanent reminder of a temporary feeling. Of course, some tattoos have tremendous meaning, people are very proud of. There's probably a few tattoos out there that people aren't proud of. But as we talk about being a successful chiropractor, let's remember our basic metric. At Winner's Edge, we call a chiropractor successful when? When is a chiropractor successful? They open up an office? Start paying their bills? They have an office that looks nice so people, quote, think they're successful? Is a chiropractor successful once they get a cool car? Buy a house? Married? Kids? We call a chiropractor successful, most of you should know this, when the chiropractor has paid off all their student loans and is automatically saving their age. And of course, that means if a chiropractor is 38, they got to save $38,000 a year automatically after tax, never miss. And then save more next year. That's it. Are you doing that? Are you a chiropractor sitting there right now who's paid off all of your student loans and you are at least auto-saving your age? That is the starting point of success. And there's many, many, many levels above that. One metric would be this. You ready for this? You haven't heard this before. You're earning interest, you're earning passive income that is at least your age every year. You're not just saving your age, you've actually put away so much into smart investments that you are now generating a passive income that matches or exceeds your age. How much money right now are you earning in a year in interest or true passive income after expenses and after tax? How much are you earning every month if you were to break it down monthly right now, as you listen to me, Tory the Chiropractor, in after tax, after expenses? Well, I got a rental property. Well, let's take out the expenses, the insurance. Let's take out the new washer and dryer that it needs every several. Take all that stuff out. What do you end up with after tax? Well, the goal is for that to be enough to pay your bills. And when that is enough to pay your bills, you've officially won the game. Bing! The flag goes up, the checkered flag waves, velvet ropes will part, champagne will fall from the sky. Okay? So how do we do that? Well, here's what we have ahead of us. Now, these are not enemies, but these are the financial obstacles. They may be fantastic in the life, but they are financial challenges, financial obstacles. Number one, student loans. Next big expense that comes along, someone wants to get married. Next big expense that comes along, kids. Big expense that goes along with all of that, house. Other big expenses that happen along the way, cars. There they are. Student loans, marriage, kids, house, cars. We better put one other one in there too. A practice loan. Things that obligate you to big expenses, either one time, like the student loans, because once they're gone, they're gone. The practice loan, once it's gone, it's gone. So we got student loans, the practice startup money, getting married, having kids, a house, and of course, cars. There they are. Now, if you just look up the cost of these things and how much you have to collect to then pay all the overhead, to then pay all of the taxes, to end up with the money to pay off the loans, pay off the practice stuff, get married, pay for kids, pay for a down payment for a house, pay for a house, pay for the phantom payments of owning the house, and pay for the car, and cars possibly plural, and all the phantom payments that go along with the car. With that, who can save any money? And the answer in chiropractic is practically nobody. That's why only 5 chiropractors out of 100 end up with any money. They got bogged down, needed a new car, moved into a different house, started again at the amortization schedule, new down payment, don't have any money now, had another kid, So here's the hardest angle. Let's have a chiropractor get married and have a kid while they're in chiro school. Then maybe have another kid as soon as they get out. Of course, they're going to need a house. So now they got student loans, marriage, kids, and need a house plus a practice loan all at one time. And somebody in the couple needs a new car. And then let's have the chiropractor be bogged down and not be able to collect very much. On the other hand, we could have a chiropractor, graduates, really plans out their whole relationship life, pays off their student loans, then then buys a house, then gets married and has kids, lives lean with the cars, pays off the practice loan. So they never have all of them all at one time. Yeah, but Tory Love, I understand things can happen in order or out of order. But just the same, how do we retire with money and have the ability to retire early? I've had like 4 chiropractors in the past couple of years retire. I think the oldest one was 55. And they all retired multimillionaires thanks to you-know-who. My influence. Because none of them were doing that well in practice when they met me. None of them were close to retiring at all when they met me. And there they are. Okay? Now, for you, your situation is going to be unique, isn't it? I don't know where you stand, loan-wise, practice loan-wise, overhead-wise, relationship cost-wise, kid cost-wise, vehicle cost-wise. We've got to put those numbers on the table, don't we? Then we've got to put some other numbers on the table. What are you collecting? What do you got for overhead in the business? What do you got for money to deal with here? So my task is very simple. I have to help you grow your practice to where you collect enough that you can handle all of these things and auto-save your age. And as you do that and you never miss a single week all 52 weeks of the year, you will accumulate. Interesting strategy I'll make you aware of. I'm not saying I recommend this for the chiropractor because we do not recommend a chiropractor get involved in anything that can take your mind away from your practice. Yeah, but Tory, I want to go and do this because so-and-so. There's nothing more profitable than your practice. Think of how in your practice it's really not that difficult for you to say, make another $3,000 a month. Do you know what you'd have to do outside your practice to generate $3,000 a month? And by the way, if you wanted to do something outside your practice that might generate $3,000 a month, which you're really not going to get, because after you take all the expenses, really your practice went down by $6,000 a month, so you could get $3,000, but after all the stuff, you really ended up with only $1,800. So you got $1,800 and you lost $6,000. Way to go, genius. All effort goes toward increasing the profitability of your practice. It is the money-making machine. Nothing interferes with it. No outside interests interfere with it. You can't do anything outside of it that takes really hardly a second of your time. That is why our investment strategies follow the Warren Buffett formula, the Warren Buffett plan, the Warren Buffett principles that have been proven to be true by him at such a high level that it's ridiculous. One share of his company stock is $500,000. What's one share of Tesla cost? What's one share of Amazon cost? And Warren Buffett, one guy, a guy, not a corporation, one human being in the middle of nowhere, builds a company where one share is $500,000. You might want to pay attention. You might want to follow the plan. By the way, does Warren Buffett own any rental real estate? Does Warren Buffett own any Airbnbs? Does Warren Buffett do anything outside of invest in companies primarily that pay a dividend? He earned $6 billion last year in just dividends. And most chiropractors don't know what a dividend is, and they're not earning any, despite the greatest investor in the history of the United States doing that exclusively. And we have the system, the procedure, the plan, and the training to teach chiropractors exactly how to do it and not waste 1 second of your time doing anything else. It is focus on practice productivity and smart investments that take no time and generate an automatically reinvesting, automatically compounding future income. I got a rental house down the road. It generates a little money every month. Does that somehow get reinvested somewhere? No, it doesn't. Does that money going to compound? No, it's not, unless I take it out and put it in something else that will compound. Makes me wonder if I had the money I put into the house and if I sold the house and put that money into something that will auto reinvest and auto compound and grow at an increasing rate over time if I wouldn't do better than just owning the house. That's what Warren Buffett does. But people just don't know what to do. Where would they learn? Where would they get trained? Where does a chiropractor learn what to do? One, to earn more money, i.e. practice management coaching, winner's edge consulting. And then what do they do? Where do they learn? How do they acquire the know-how on what to do to actually, quote, grow money reliably? And in a way where you can sleep well at night. And in a way you don't get any phone calls. You don't have to deal with anybody. You don't have to worry about any sort of physical asset. Where you can manage all of your stuff with a cell phone and never have to talk to a human being. Never have to get on a plane. Never have to do anything that is a distraction away from your money-making machine, which is your practice of chiropractic awesomeness. Well, this is the official winner's edge approach I'm talking about here. There might be other ways, but I don't know about them. You know why? Because none of them are better. Take it from me, the guy who's doing it successfully. How do you retire early with money? Let's break it down to a few key points here. One, all of our focus goes into growing our practice and our practice profitability. Layout, equipment, systems, procedures, fee structure, everything that we have here. As we have more profitability and money to work with, I had an accountant once. Somebody wanted to refer a new client. How much is the guy collecting? Blank. I don't want him. What? Because he doesn't have any money. He doesn't have any money for me to work with and do anything accounting-wise. Yeah, but you're supposed to help him. No. I can only help people if they got money flow. Very interesting. So I got to get you with more money flow. Now as we got more money flow, well then of course we got to put a system in place. We got to get the giving in place. Got to get the debt plan in place. Got to get the taxes in place. We got to get the payroll in place. Then we have to, of course, get this saving/investing. Little bit of speculation in there. Very little. Done a certain way like we teach. And we're off to the races. Interesting strategy I was kind of alluding to earlier. Dave Ramsey. What did Dave Ramsey do? Well, as I understand it, he struggled early on, and he made some mistakes that caused him to really want to learn and approach it a better way. But what he did is he put money into a mutual fund until he had enough money to pay cash for a rental property. Then, as that rental property earned any money, he saved it again until he had enough money to pay cash for another rental property. Do you think people today have the patience to do that? No, they go get a huge loan and then they don't make any money on the property. You can't make very much money on a property you have a big mortgage on until the mortgage is gone. And now Dave Ramsey owns around $600 million of stuff. And of course, he has a popular show and he's made a bunch of money and sold books and done a lot of things because he has a good voice and he is a good teacher and he's appealed to the churchy crowd who, if anybody has a southern voice like that and they talk about money and God's plan, everybody will just listen to him and do whatever they say in half of the southern states of the United States. And you match that with some decent teaching and you have an incredible formula. And fine. He wants people to pay off the debt. He wants people to accumulate. He wants people to be smart. He knows that having those feelings of financial stability are tremendous, and he wants to help as many people as he can. You own a business. Number one is you're earning more money with the business, and number two is you're starting to invest the money. If you look at someone like him, if he would have just kept the money in the mutual funds, he still would have ended up with a ton of money. Maybe more. maybe more actually, instead of taking the money and put it into a property with all the expenses and all the costs that go along with it. If he would have just kept it in there and let it automatically reinvest and automatically compound like Warren Buffett does. But he likes real estate. It is of interest to him, and that was his angle because he is a real estate guy. That was his business. Your business is chiropractic. So you make money with your chiropractic and put it in stuff that doesn't take any of your time. In his case, he didn't mind if the real estate took his time because that's the business he was in. You're in the chiropractic business. You're not in the real estate business. Just like Dave Ramsey wasn't trying to do chiropractic on the side and dabbling in it to try to generate some extra income. Think about that. And then over time, as things accumulate and grow, we want to create passive income. Now, the only true passive income, there really is no such thing as passive income. Even if you own property, that's not passive. There's work involved. Okay? I've owned several commercial units, rental houses. Okay? It's not passive. Sometimes it seems like it's passive, but it's not. Passive is when you own stock in a company like Visa, and every 3 months it pays you a growing dividend. That is passive. You never have to look at anything. You never have to talk to anybody for a split second ever. In fact, you could start that and not look at it for 20 years. Try that with a rental house. Okay? So there's what is genuinely passive, and there's what people want to kind of call passive, but really it's active because you got to deal with it somehow. But over here, okay, with what I'm suggesting is your primary plan, it is absolutely passive if you make the smart decisions up front. We're going to be doing quite a few high-powered trainings on this as we go through the upcoming months, because the Winner's Edge Chiropractor is the most financially savvy chiropractor, and they have a plan that is workable and repeatable and reliable for the future. But back to you. How are you doing on the student loans? How are you doing on any practice loans? Are your taxes current to the week? Are you getting paid a square amount every week and getting it into your life so you can work with it on a weekly basis? Money requires velocity. Can't get paid every other week, because if I get paid every week, my money flow is twice as fast as yours. I win. Habits being equal, of course. How are you doing with your giving? How are you doing with your wealth and investment accounts, their location and their setup? How are you doing with any automation? How are you doing with your automation into solid long-term investments? Big point. Maybe we'll start to bring it together on this. Listen carefully. All investments are made for one single reason. What is that reason? Make money. What does it mean to make money? Most people don't know what make money means. Make money. Is that what you collect? Make money. Is that what you have before taxes? Make money. Is that what you have after taxes? What does it mean to make money? How do you actually make it? Well, making money is the money you have after all expenses and all taxes, what's left in your checking account in cash that you can spend. That is the money that you made through the channels of commerce that we have to work within. All investments are made to create a future cash flow. How do you make investments that are guaranteeing you that they will create a future cash flow? Not a future nightmare, not a big future expense. Future cash flow. Reliable, repeatable, fun, interesting, and allows you to sleep well at night. So, from front to back, from beginning to end, from the alpha to the omega. It's build, practice, profit, and then through automation to smart long-term investments, down the road in the future, you will be generating genuine passive income such that it will be enough to pay for your lifestyle. And when that happens, you have officially won the game. You can officially retire. You are officially now what we call financially independent. You are now what we call officially wealthy, and you are free. Tory out.